Hey, it's so great to be with you guys. I've been able to serve on the Vineyard Missions team for several years now, and over the past year and a half, I have served as a missions mobilizer for 3 of the regions in the United States, and this is one of the regions that I am blessed to get to hang out in, and it's been awesome. I've been hanging out with you guys for a little over a year now. When I first started, John Elmer said, well, you need to go out and meet Mike Safford. He's the new RL, and you need to get to know him, kind of hear his heart, hear his vision. So I came out, I met him over at Bakersfield last year. We met at a Starbucks, and I immediately liked him. He's a nice guy. And then we talked about a mutual friend from the Southeast that we had, and I made the comment, yeah, they've got some pretty thick accents. And he looked right at me and he said, well, you're pretty neck yourself, buddy. So that was hurtful. But other than that, my experience in this region has been great. Like I said, I get to serve with Bubba Justice on the Vineyard Missions team, and I'll just tell you, we are in a sweet season as Vineyard USA, but a sweet season with what God is doing around the world. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. If you were at the national conference, I'm sure you got a sense of that. The third final day of the conference. How many of you guys were at the national conference? Was that not incredible, what God did in the room? And the momentum that we have as a missions team coming out of that has been extraordinary. So I'll talk about that in just a second. A little bit about myself. Our family has been a part of a Vineyard church in Tennessee for about 17 years now. About halfway through that, we moved to the country of Haiti and served as missionaries there. And God showed us so many amazing things. We came back and we started getting involved in places in West Africa, specifically in the Ivory Coast. And our heart was really for unreached people groups. And so we started working with our first unreached people group called the Waradugu people, a couple 100,000 people. If you ever check out the Joshua Project, which is a great place to go to learn about unreached people groups, you'll see the Waradugu people on that website. And from there, we started getting to know indigenous leaders, local leaders that begin to fall in love with Jesus and share the gospel with their neighbors, mostly Muslim and Muslim animists. And before we knew it, there were 6 unreached people groups that had a significant work happening in it in the Ivory Coast. That work bled over into the country of Mali. And in November, I'll be going with a team to meet with some of the indigenous leaders from the Ivory Coast and Mali to help pioneer a new work with an unreached people group in the country of Guinea. And that's just one of the many extraordinary things that God is doing around the world. And I want to talk here in just a second about a near and a far and how you guys can get your churches involved in partnerships, both in a place that's near, a place where your people can get their hands dirty, they can go on trips, they can anybody in your church can go, and afar, maybe a place that has unreached people groups. So we'll talk about that in just a second. As I said, I'm the missions mobilizer, and so Bubba Justice, who is the national coordinator for missions, has been using the analogy of a baseball diamond. If you were at the national conference, our team all had these really cheesy baseball jerseys on. It was fun. And the idea is, how do we help a church get around the bases? If Home Plate is an indigenously led church planting movement in a country, how do we let local vineyard churches partner with seeing that happen? It's a big question. And that's really what our goal is. I got up in front of the Southeast, the Southeast region at the national conference at their breakout, and here's what I said. I said, my name's Josh Armstrong. I'm the missions mobilizer, and I want to help you get to first base. And I got some really weird looks. I didn't know what that was about, but went right over my head. But that is my goal for your church. My goal is to help your churches get to first base when it comes to the first steps and getting around. Okay, stay with me, people. You dirty-minded vineyard people. This is Mike's fault. Mike started all this. Yeah. And so listen, I know a lot of you guys have a lot of experience in missions, and some of you are brand new church plants, or maybe you coming out of COVID, you don't have anything going on with missions, but we do want to help you take those first steps in getting involved with a Vineyard Missions partnership. There are nearly 50 partnerships that the United States has that works in 50 different countries of the world, from places that are near, places like Mexico and Haiti and the Dominican Republic, to places that are far. And we're talking about places in the Middle East, in Southeast Asia. We've got all kinds of opportunities for your church, no matter the size. And by the way, small, medium, large, it doesn't matter what size your church. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much influence. We like to do things in partnership together so that everybody and every church gets to play. And every church represented in this room has the opportunity to be a part of a missions partnership. A lot of, and if you were at the national conference, you heard Rick Warren say this. A lot of people read Acts 1:8 that we're going to start in Jerusalem and then go to Judea and Samaria and then the ends of the earth. But that's not what the verse says. It says Jerusalem and Judea and Samaria and the ends of the earth. And all of us have the opportunity to join in the vision and the calling that Jesus laid out for us. And so listen, my contact information's here. I've already talked to a bunch of you. If you're not involved in a partnership and you want information, we would love for you to consider a partnership that's both near, so somewhere that's accessible to your people so that they can be discipled. I don't know, how many of you guys have been influenced and impacted by a short-term mission trip? Bunch of us. Look, it changed my life. And that's a lot of our stories. We want to give our people the opportunity to go somewhere near and get their hands dirty and partner with people on the ground. But also, this is a season where we're talking a lot about unreached people groups, these places that are far, that are difficult. And listen, we're in a season where there are a lot of opportunities to get involved with those far partnerships. And I'd love to have that conversation with you. So for both of those, a near and a far, please talk to me, get to know me. I'd love to get to know you. I'd love to come to your church, talk with some of your people. There's my email, shout at me, and we'll get going with this. So thanks so much. Mike, am I passing it back over to you? All right. Thanks, guys.